What's up, everybody? Jake Mitz, Jordan Schusterman here at Cespedes Family Barbecue. The 2022 season is done and dusted, and that means it's time for us to revisit our bold predictions that we made here on this YouTube channel ahead of the 2022 season.
I've checked in on this video a few times over the course of the season. Jake, have you watched this once since we recorded it in March?
I haven't watched a single YouTube video since we recorded this in March.
30 bold predictions.
Next level animation.
Shohei Ohtani allows more home runs than he hits.
Oh, pause that right here. Shohei Ohtani this year hit 34 homers, not as many as he did in 2021. There have been pitchers that have allowed more than 34 home runs. Like, that happened. But this year, Ohtani only allowed 14, less than he did in 2021. I still love this one, but this is still a D thing, not a total F.
The essence of this prediction was Ohtani underwhelms, and he did not.
Seattle Mariners, Jordan, your favorite baseball team. Jeff Mathis starts a game for the 2022 Seattle Mariners.
Oh, man. This is fantastic. I'm going to give this a C-, even though I think we knew Jeff Mathis was done playing. The Mariners did probably need some help. That said, we also didn't know Cal Raleigh was going to lead all catchers in home runs and play through a broken thumb. But in spirit, they definitely could have used Jeff Mathis for one game. That is true. That's why I'm saying C-, because even though Jeff Mathis is done and we pretty much knew that, I still think you were on the right track here.
Houston Astros. Dusty Baker admits that he did not invent the high five.
I love this. I think this is perfectly bold.
Oh, man.
Okay, so what was my thinking? They'd win the World Series and he would basically be like, I didn't do it.
I don't know why you thought this would come up. Of course, the funniest part about this is Dusty Baker has been more in the news than we could possibly hope. And I have seen the high five thing referenced at times in some of the stuff written about him, but I've never seen him questioned about it. I did not see him talk about it at any point. So in that case, I'm actually going to give this an F, because think about how much Dusty Baker was talking to people and to the media. He was being asked so many questions, and this was never like, no one ever asked him to doubt it. So many opportunities for Dusty to come clean, and he didn't.
Eric Dames, who is on the Athletics, has a better first half than Matt Olson.
Oh,
that is...
Jordan, how many games did Eric Dames play for the A's?
Well, 0, obviously. Do you know how many he even played in AAA for Las Vegas? 22.
Where was he?
I think then he was just done. Maybe he got hurt. He doesn't seem like he played anywhere else after that. To really hammer this home as an F-. Matt Olson was amazing in the first half. If you had said second half, then this would only be an F. But instead, it is an F- for me.
Texas Rangers. Dane Dunning loses 20 games.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Does that mean
How many games did Dane Dunning lose, Jordan?
Dane Dunning lost 8 games in 29 starts. He went 4-8 with a 4.46 ERA, 88 ERA plus. Jake, I am so excited to deliver you this news. I am going to give you an A- for this, because while Dane Dunning himself only went 4-8, the Rangers in the games that Dane Dunning started went 9-20. So there you go. Then I'm giving you an A-. They lost 20 games that Dane Dunning started. 20 times Dane Dunning started the game and was sad afterwards.
We begin with the team that won the most.
Ooh, I think this is like my
games
strongest
last
one.
year. All the good juju from last year for the San Francisco Giants is gone.
Yeah.
And the Giants will be sellers at the trade deadline.
Wow. They didn't sell.
Some, not much.
What did they do at the deadline again? They seems like they stood pat. Your prediction that this team would underwhelm significantly was pretty spot on. I'm going to give you an A- because they weren't buyers at the deadline. They were not sellers.
They sure should have been. Everyone was like, why aren't you trading Carlos Rodon?
This next one for the Arizona Diamondbacks is kind of along the lines of your Eric Thames one. Matt Davidson will lead the team in home runs.
Walk me through Matt Davidson's season, please.
He did not make the team, but he did go to AAA and immediately homered like 10 times in the first 2 weeks, at which point he was called up by the D-backs. I was there for his first game against the Nationals, and he had a home run in, I believe, his second at bat, and I was feeling great. I was like, holy shit, this D-backs offense is terrible. There's no way anyone's going to hit that many home runs. I might actually nail this. And then he kind of crashed back to earth, ended up on Oakland on the year with 2 homers in the major leagues, one with Oakland, one with the D-backs. Do you know who led the D-backs in homers?
Christian Walker was incredible.
Christian Walker with 36. So It looks like Matt Davidson finished 20th on the D-backs in homers.
You get a very square C because there was hope, there was tension around this one at some point during the season.
Well, let's move to the Dodgers. Edwin Rios will hit more home runs than Cody Bellinger.
So you were counting on Cody Bellinger continuing to suck and Edwin Rios getting a big chunk of that playing time. Now, unfortunately for you, Edwin Rios got hurt. Cody Bellinger did continue to suck. And had Edwin Rios been healthy, I imagine he would have scooped up some of that playing time.
Here's the thing, man. Edwin Rios played more than I realized. He played the first 2 months. June 2nd was his last game. He had 7 homers, at which point Cody Bellinger only had 6. Now, Cody Bellinger finished with 19, but through 2 months, I was correct.
I'll give you a B+.
AJ Preller, fired before Fernando Tatis Jr. is back on the
field. Heroic. That one is
spicy. Hey, wait. I have to make the obvious point. This is still possible.
You're still in the mix. You can run it back next year, man.
Oh, man. So how are you grading this one? This is tough.
This is an F because this one implied a Padres total collapse, and they did not. AJ Preller was proven right.
This last one for the Rockies is my favorite. Jake Mintz, Jose Iglesias is going to win the batting title.
Wow.
What he hit?
Jose Iglesias this year, who had one of the strangest seasons of 2022, hit way better on the road than he did in Coors. Finished his season hitting .292. This was one I remembered because this was the one I felt the best about when we did it. And I remember in like August, I was like, we got a shot here. If Goldschmidt like drops an 0 for 30, like with Freddie Freeman, like we might have a real chance. Where did Jose Iglesias actually finish? .292, finished tied with Starling Marte for 7th in the NL.
B+. I think in another year, if he hits like a regular person does at Coors Field, this is an A.
Let me just remind everybody, at home, he hit .264. On the road, he had .315. What the?
Do you know how much space there is for Jose Iglesias to bloop singles in at Coors Field?
Cleveland Guardians. FRANMIL Reyes hits a 500-foot home run. Cleveland travels to Colorado in mid-June, and while they're at Coors Field, FRANMIL will hit a 500-foot home run.
What did FRANMIL do that series? Was he still on Cleveland?
FRANMIL was still on Cleveland in June, but he did not appear to play in that series at all. I think this is when he was sent down. I think he was sent down to AAA on May 24th. So that's already a bad start for you. He only hit 14 home runs. I just love this one because of how specific it was in so many levels. But this is still, I think, a hearty D.
Miguel Cabrera midseason retirement. He's done. Hangs him up. No mas.
I mean, did that not happen? Do you remember watching a Miguel Cabrera highlight after the All-Star break?
I'm gonna give this a C+.
Okay.
Because while he kept playing, he sure seemed like a candidate for so many reasons to stop. He was so injured and so bad and so old and so done reaching milestones. But I think what you did not account for was the tens of millions of dollars he would be just walking away from.
I was counting on the Tigers being competent enough.
That's also
and so they would have to Spencer Torkelson is raking. Right. And so they're like, Miggy, it's time to go. But the Tigers were so bad that they didn't give a shit. They kept running him out there. And he can't hang them up in the middle of such a disastrous season. That would have been so depressing, right?
Kansas City Royals. Yeah. Zach Greinke hits a home run.
How is that ever going to happen? Why did I do that?
You did, for the record, you did know about the DH. You did.
I know. Right. What's the rationale?
So this is an obvious F, but I love this one so much that maybe an F+. He was pitching pretty well. Like he went 7 scoreless on September 27th against Detroit. That would have been a great time to let him hit as well.
Luis Robert, 10 WAR season.
Oh!
I love that, right? So you could have gone in.
10 WAR did happen. It was just Aaron Judge. He ended up at 2.1 B-WAR. He was hurt. He only played 98 games, but, extrapolating, and we're still not quite there.
All right.
So
that's fine. Maybe next year.
This is a D- because I respect Luis Robert so much.
Max Kepler gets drafted into the German army for World War III. and misses the second half of the season.
So I don't know.
All right. Oh man, I forgot about this one. This is how do we go below F? F. I can't even. No further comment. Just please move on to the next one.
The Milwaukee Brewers will have the worst offense in the National League.
They hit a lot of homers, so I don't think they did. I'm going to check this one. They were middle of the pack. This was bad. 103 WRC plus, which was 5th in the National League. Nowhere near the Pirates and Reds at 84th.
I'll give you a D.
The Ricketts family will buy Chelsea and not make a single statement about the Cubs, or they will just completely forget about the Cubs. They'll still own the Cubs, and the Cubs will finish with a worse record than last year, fewer than 71 wins.
How many wins for the Cubs?
They ended up with 74 after a really incredible second half. They finished in 3rd. They were not good, but the Ricketts did not buy Chelsea. Keep playing it because I think, hold on, keep playing it because I think that you said something about Chelsea points.
May I make an edit?
Sure, please.
Okay. The Cubs have fewer wins than Chelsea has points.
Chelsea finished last year with 74 points.
Wow.
Last season. I don't know how you grade this one. The Cubs weren't very good, but they didn't buy Chelsea.
I think Chelsea having 74 points and the Cubs having 74 wins gives this a B.
Tyler O'Neill is going 40-40 this year.
Oh, that one sucks. F. Tyler O'Neill stank.
Oh, God. Tyler O'Neill this year only played 96 games, was hurt. Brendan Donovan took his job. 14 homers, 14 steals. 14-14. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill's going 14-14.
14.
The Reds are winning more games than they did last year.
Oh, no.
And I think that the Reds will not – I'm not saying they're going to make the postseason, but I just don't think they're going to suck that much. I think they're going to win 84 games.
Hey.
84 games!
Hey, hold on. I said I'm not saying they're going to make the postseason. Give me some credit for that. This is F minus. They won 62, lost 100 games for the first time since 1982.
You missed their total by 22 games.
I think that's bananas. I think this is heroic of you.
I think that's bananas. Good, Jake.
A plus for you, Jake.
Mitch Keller is going to pull a Lucas Giolito
and
become an all-star.
He was not an all-star, but he was pretty good, right?
He was pretty good. I mean, 3.91 ERA, 106 ERA plus. This one maybe was a year early.
I think if he has the first half and the second half and the second and the first, he maybe is their all-star. I'll give you a B.
Baltimore Orioles. Trey Mancini hits a home run in the NLCS.
Oh!
Okay, go O's.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Woo. Okay.
Wow.
Lot to process here. I'm going to be very careful here with my grade. All right. I'm between A minus and B plus because he was traded to it. We saw him, right? Unfortunately, he had one of the worst postseasons we've seen in some time. He did end up with a hit, no homers, one single, but this is still fantastic. Now, if you were thinking that the Orioles would be terrible, and so when they trade Trey Mancini, it was more of of course, all right, Trey, go win somewhere, right? We know it was very different than that. It ages in so many hilarious ways. I'll give you an A minus for this one.
The Toronto Blue Jays. Greg Bird, 30 homer season. Let the man.
Oh boy. We were really all in on these AAA spring training heroes. So Greg Bird, who we saw homer in spring training, right?
I think he was with the Blue Jays, homered against the Yankees, and then didn't make the team and ended up on the Yankees.
He played in AAA. He played 59 games with the Yankees, 0 with the Blue Jays, and hit 6 homers in AAA. So this is certainly an F. Oh, right. That's what happened. Okay. Then he ended up with the Yankees.
Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Lau and Josh Lowe make the All-Star team.
Neither one made it?
Yeah, because B. Lau got hurt. This one's boring. Like, B. Lau got hurt. He is an All-Star caliber player. Josh Lowe, who you were really betting on, did come up and play 52 games, but had a 627 OPS and was nowhere near the All-Star game. Yeah, I mean, this was an easy one, but it's a D minus. Moving on.
Boston Red Sox.
Yes.
Chris Sale gets vaccinated. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
The Red Sox
I'm hearing you out.
ace has been reluctant to get the old jab. Now, if you take a little gander at the old schedule piece, you will see that the Toronto Blue Jays are hosting the Boston Red Sox for the second to last series of the season. Here's what I'm seeing. The Sox are like 2 games back of Toronto. They see this happening a week in advance, and they're like, Chris, man, we need you for these games. These are must win. Will you get the jab? And he gets the good Moderna juice.
This was contingent on the Red Sox being good, which did not happen. This also supposed a scenario in which a player that was unvaccinated would get vaccinated because of the playoff race, which did happen to Andrew Benintendi and Whit Merrifield. And so presumably this easily could have happened to Chris Sale.
First and foremost, Chris Sale, as far as we know, is still not vaccinated. So that's a good place to start.
He needed to be good, which he wasn't. He needed the Red Sox to be good,
which they weren't. But you make a good point that the notion of someone getting the jab for the postseason is going to make this a D and not an F.
Aaron Judge is traded at the deadline.
I completely forgot about this.
The Yankees are going to stink. They're going to be like, well, Judge, we're going to bring him back anyway. Let's get some prospects out of it. And they deal Judge to like the Padres or something. And
Judge to the
Woo!
Padres.
Okay, that shout out gets you some
2
points.
months.
Let me make a case. All right. Let me make a case. I argued that Aaron Judge would be awesome and worth trading, which he was. Was he not?
Yeah, you're right.
I argued that the Yankees would stink, which they did at various points of the season. There were moments where the Yankees stunk enough to trade away Aaron Judge. And I said the Padres would trade for a generational outfield power hitter.
F.
One of Will Smith, Tyler Matzik, or AJ Minter will be DFA'd or optioned before the end of the season because relievers are never as good as you think they are.
Cold.
Go.
Oh, okay. So AJ Minter was nails.
Amazing. He was even better.
Tyler Matzik was hurt and then got TJ. Will Smith was essentially optioned, where he was awful and then traded to Houston for Jake Odorizzi. I give you a B. I mean, you made a regular prediction. You made a prediction.
Yeah.
Not a bold one. You made a prediction.
Let's go to the Nationals. Now, look, there's a lot of Juan Soto, on base related ones. And I have one as well. Juan Soto will draw at least 171 walks, which has not been done by anybody not named Barry Bonds, who did it, of course, in 01, 02, and 04. Babe Ruth is 4th on the list with 170 in 1923.
How many walks, Jordan?
135, which is fewer than last year. The walks, they were still up there with the Padres, but the lineup protection, I think, changed a little bit.
He had Josh Bell at both places.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. My case is ruined.
This is a D just because it was a Soto down year, and then the mechanism by which he was going to get all the walks had changed in the middle of the season because the Padres were better than that.
The Miami Marlins have finished last in attendance for each of the last 3 seasons where fans have let in. I'm going to say that this year they will set a franchise attendance record.
So wait, here's why this is crazy, because they had like 45,000 people per game one year when they were playing in the football stadium.
Yes. The first year they had 3 million fans in 93. Yeah, I mean, this was catastrophic. This is, I think, my worst one. They did not even draw 1 million fans. This was also a horrible misunderstanding of just like amount of fans.
Buck Showalter doesn't bring in Edwin Diaz. Steve Cohen tweets an AL wildcard game joke.
Edwin Diaz was Zach Britton level incredible. Edwin Diaz did not pitch in game 3. He did pitch. He did pitch in game 3 of the wildcard series when they were losing. And so I'm going to give this an F because Buck clearly changed.
Record for most homers in a season by a team and still missed the postseason.
Oh!
Oh man. Oh, that's a great capper right there. Let's at least talk about the first part of that. Phillies this year were 6th in homers, 205, nowhere near the top of the Yankees, 254. Now, at this point, I also didn't know that the ball would be dead for the first 4 months or that Bryce Harper would get hurt.
You were missing 3 months of Harper and a competent Nick Castellanos.
That probably gets me close to at least the league lead.
In game 5 of the World Series, didn't they break a record for the most homers by a team? Game 3 of the World Series? Phillies break the record for most homers by a team. They actually tied the record. So I'm going to give you a C.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. That's very generous.
All right. So all in all, that fucking ruled.
Honestly, better than I thought. There were some intricacies in some of them where we got some things right. I am so excited to do it again next year. I'm proud of the ones that I got decently close on. And Aaron Judge traded just hits different on November 10th, 2022.
Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a whole lot of these off-season videos. And like, don't you want to know next year when we make another one of these idiot, stupid videos? Right? You want to know?